So, there has been a lot of debate on the internet about the equation on the screen. 6 divided by 2, open parenthesis, 1 plus 2, close parenthesis. And it's really a matter of knowing and understanding your order of operations, or PEMDAS. And where a lot of the confusion comes from is I've noticed that people believe that it's parentheses, exponents, multiplication, then division, then addition, then subtraction. When in actuality it's parentheses and brackets, exponents, multiplication or division, and that you are to do it in order from left to right as it appears in the equation, and addition or subtraction in order as it appears in the equation. So really, PEMDAS could also be written as P, E, D, M, S, A, but that's not as cool of an acronym. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Please excuse Daddy, Mommy, Sally, Ann. I don't know. PEMDAS just sounds and works better as an acronym and easier to remember. I know that when I was a kid, we were taught PEMDAS as, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But when I was in elementary school, they did happen to emphasize the fact that multiplication and division and addition and subtraction, respectively, are interchangeable. So, as as it's written here, you can do the division first and then the multiplication, or the multiplication and then the division, depending on what comes first in the equation. And then the other thing that I've seen people getting confused about is, once you solve 1 plus 2, which is 3, people are keeping the parentheses around the 3, and that's perfectly acceptable. But people are believing that the parentheses still exist, and that you have to do this before you do this because of parentheses in PEMDAS. When in actuality, this is just another way of writing this. 6 divided by 2 times 3. And the reason why you will see it written this way more often than you will this way, unless you're in elementary school, and then you'll see it this way, is once you get into the higher maths like algebra, calculus, trigonometry, this becomes confusing because you start dealing with letters in your equations. So, somebody who has taken higher math would look at this equation and say, is that 6 divided by 2x times 3? Or, would they know that you mean multiplication in that instance? So that's why, more often than not, you will see it written out this way, for people who have taken higher math. Just simply because, is that an X or is that a multiplication symbol? Hard to know. So those aren't parentheses anymore. It is an indication that you are supposed to multiply. So at this point, you multiply and divide from left to right. Whatever comes first in the equation, division comes first. So those two are divided to equal 3. 3 equals 9. And then I'll do it over here as well so that you can see that. So that you can see that 6 divided by 2 is 3 times 3 equals 9. So, as you can see here, it's the same problem, just written in a different format. Because this, as I said before, would confuse somebody who has taken algebra, calculus, geometry, trigonometry, of is that an x, or is that, as a variable, or is that an x as in a multiplication symbol. So with PEMDAS, it's parentheses or brackets. So brackets, and I'm just going to put a letter Y, and then I'm going to use a Z, so that you can see and when you have parentheses and brackets, you work from the inside out. So you do everything inside first and then work your way out. Exponents. And roots. That's something else that you will learn in higher mathematics. And then exponents and roots are reciprocals of each other, just the way multiplication and division are reciprocals, and addition and subtraction are reciprocals of each other. And exponents look like that, and roots kind of look like a long division symbol, but it has that little bracket thing there, and Y. And when you don't see a number there, it's assumed as being a 2. So these two are reciprocals of each other. Then you have multiplication, division. And that is one step. And it's in order. From left to right. And multiplication can look like, let's see, write it up here. Multiplication can look like Y, X. I'm going to put a circle around, I'm going to put a circle around that X so that you know that it's a multiplication symbol and not a variable. Or you can write it as Y, Z. And both of those are equal to the same thing. It's just a fancier way of writing it than what you learned in elementary school. And then division, you have Y divided by Z, Y divided by Z, or Y divided by Z, or Y divided by Z. And those two are basically the same, it's just the orientation that's different. And then you have addition and subtraction. And that is also in order from left to right. And obviously that's addition and that's subtraction. So Y plus Z, or Y minus Z. And when it comes to these two, if you don't have any parentheses or exponents, if you have a problem that looks like 2 times 3 divided by 2, you do 2 times 3 is 6, divided by 2 equals 3. Or if you have 2 divided by, let's say, 12 times 3, 2 divided by 12, or actually, sorry, I wrote that backwards. 12 divided by 2 times 3. There we go. Now it'll be a positive number, not a negative number. So that is 6, and times 3 is 18. And then, so, with order of operations left to right in this problem, the multiplication came first, so you multiplied 2 times 3 to get 6, and then you divided that answer, 6 divided by 2, to get 3. And in this other problem, you had the division first, so 12 divided by 2, which is equal to 6. 6 times 3 is 18. And then with addition and subtraction, 2 minus 3 plus 2. 2 minus 3 is negative 1, plus 2 equals 1. I think. Don't quote me on that. Let me reverse that. So we're not dealing with negative numbers. 3 minus 2 plus 2. So 3 minus 2 is 1, plus 2 equals 3. Or we can have 2 plus 2 minus 3. 2 plus 2 is 4. Minus 3 is 1. So as you can see, either adding and subtracting or multiplying and dividing, whatever comes first in the problem, is what you do first. And in this problem that I've done up here, this one particularly, it can be written as 2, 3 divided by 2. And that's the same problem, and you'd still get the answer of 3. And the same thing over here, where it's equal to 12 divided by 2 times 3. So as you can see, this is very similar to what we had up here. 6 divided by 2, 3. And as you can see, I've worked it out the same way, as this comes first. 6 times 3 is still 18. So I hope that this has helped you in understanding the problem, and that 6 divided by 2, 1 plus 2 equals 9. And if you'll give me just a moment, I'll grab my phone, which has a calculator on it. That can do this particular problem. Let me zoom in on it and focus. You can see 6 divided by 2 parenthesis, and my calculator automatically adds the multiplication symbol between the 2 and the parenthesis because it's implied. 1 plus 2 equals, and as you can see, that is equal to 9.